Hi, and welcome to Voice with Julia and day 11 of our 30 days of breath support. Today, we're going to be doing a vocal exercise to teach you a little bit more about the concepts of breath choreography. But before we do that, I want to invite all the classical singers out in the audience to check out our Luca Bel Canto Institute. This is going to be running this summer in Lucca, Italy from September 9th through 16th. It's going to be myself and Ferdinand von Bottmer, a fantastic tenor, teaching the masterclass. And we're going to have a week-long immersion experience, really just with vocal technique and exploring our artistry. So if this sounds interesting, visit the link below and be sure to apply early.
Voice with Julia, change your voice, change your life.
Now, let's get on to our exercise. So as you've watched over these days, you watch kind of the mechanics of keeping the appoggio, which is known as keeping the rib cage up and the diaphragm. You know, this whole setup is your appoggio, okay? This is your support. So you don't want to let any of this fall. That includes back ribs, sternum, all of this. You might be so tired after doing this, but you know what? I don't care. You gotta do it anyways. But you work slow, right? You work slow so that you don't tire yourself out and start doing it wrong, but you do it every day, yeah? And you can even practice, like let's say that you are just, you have a lot of vocal demands, because I know a lot of you are working singers. That's tricky. You can practice this with your arias or whatever it is, the scenes that you're doing. You can practice your breath support without singing. So that's really great. So what we're doing today is a little bit more of breath choreography. And what that means is this give and take that we're kind of learning, this in and out, down here at the pelvic floor. I can't actually point to it or I'll get banned from YouTube, but you know, it's somewhere there, right? Pelvic floor, okay, somewhere internal. So I can point on my outside, I can't point on my inside, but that's to give you the idea. That's where it is, right? It's that feeling of lifting the bladder, okay? It's not these external abs that are pumping, right? But you'll see motion there, and that's normal. So this exercise, the principle is we like to go in on the first note because that starts the motion, that starts the gesture of the breath, okay? The reason we go out is to keep the breath off the voice, but we also go out to retain flexibility in the mechanism, that we don't get held and fast. This is really important. So we go out for high notes or intervals, okay? Higher intervals, we go out. But let's say we're just doing a one-note samba on da, 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 da. I mean, there are phrases like that, okay? Anybody? You have to keep that. You will want the motion. You don't just go one direction and hold. This is very important. As soon as you hold, the breath system gets stuck, the diaphragm freezes, everything gets, and it goes up the line. You've got your pelvic floor, you've got your diaphragm, then you've got your larynx. And if there's tension here that's not moving, meaning it's not moving, this gets tight, and then this gets tight. So this is why we do this choreography, to keep the system moving, okay? So we're gonna do a little exercise, and I don't want this to be too complicated because we haven't done too much singing yet. But we're going to keep our rib cage out, okay? And when we initiate the phrase, we're going to come in. And the exercise goes like this. Okay, it starts on a rolled R. If you can't do a rolled R, do a V, okay, with a V. But I'm going to do a rolled R. So we're going to go. So ba da ba 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 ba, okay? So with the out, we're gonna go out. We go in, out, then bounce, 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 bounce. And then on the last one, we come in, so that we have momentum. That way when we release, it creates the vacuum effect and brings the air into our lungs so that we can do the release as the inhale. Does that make sense? It becomes one gesture. Release equals inhale. It's not release, then inhale. It's release is the inhale, then you can go on. So let's try this again, okay? We've got and you feel that comes right in, okay? good. And if you're singing this up, getting a little bit higher, keep the bottom part in head tone, even if it's lower, because this really makes your breath support work. If you just sing, you know, and kind of get that meaty middle voice or going down, and you're not going to be really utilizing the breath to its max. Keep it buoyant, okay? Let's try another one. And so you're feeling that bum, 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 yeah? And these are exercises. I don't want you focusing so much on the vocalism. I want you focusing on the freedom here and the undulation. This is about feeling how this affects this. Because until you understand that relationship, you're not going to understand this, right? So you need to know that when you go a little bit more huh, that the voice goes huh. So it's okay if it does that. If you go down and you're you should feel that it does that ba da da. And if you don't want that, you don't have to do that. But this is not the exercise to eliminate that, okay? I want you to feel the effect of that. So give this a try. You can take this pretty high. If this feels comfortable, you can go through your range with this exercise. All right, but don't push it. And if this gets tired from staying out, you need to take a little break, okay? Because we got to build this up systematically. See you tomorrow.